I think growing up in such a small town really made me start to root for local and small businesses. Life gets a lot more interesting when we pay attention, not just to ourselves, but to the people around us, the conversations, the moments, the lessons hidden inside ordinary life. This is Learn for 2.0. Hey there, welcome to Learn for 2.0. I am Brandon DeVere, and thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate that. Today, I want to get into shopping and supporting local businesses. A couple different things. Kind of probably started for me. Why I prefer small businesses is in any time that I have the ability to support them or shop that way. I think probably, I grew up in a super small town, like 2,000 people, Central Washington. If you've ever seen the show Northern Exposure, there's all these like three little small towns together, and this Northern Exposure took place in Alaska, but it was filmed, and there's a moose that walks down Main Street, and that's literally Main Street of Roslyn, Washington. So it's not a very big spot, so we didn't really have many. I mean, even today, there's one grocery store there, one chain grocery store. And there's a couple other different grocery stores or different places where you can buy things, but mainly there's the one grocery store, and then everything else. I don't think we had. I think we had a Dairy Queen. We got a Dairy Queen when I was like in the 7th or 8th grade, I think. But before that, we didn't have any fast food there. Now there's a couple different fast food spots there, but we had like a Dairy Queen. And then what else popped in? It's like a Taco Bell came in later or something like that. Or a Subway. That Subway came in when I was in high school. That's what it was. But anyways, I've always had kind of an affinity for the small business owner, and just because they all have a story. Some of them are just like handed down through generations, or why did they start? What would make someone start in this business, or whatever business they've started? Is it, do they have a passion for it, or did they see a need? Or sometimes, then there's sometimes crazy stories. And so those are the type of things that I get excited about. Well, kind of fast forward a little bit. Back in 2016, I believe it was, I started my first podcast. My first podcast was called Summerlin Advice-Givers, and it was kind of a franchise model. I had to license the name and everything, so I no longer have that one. But what I did was I went out and interviewed local business owners and entrepreneurs out here in the Summerlin area, and the idea was to kind of get them. You can learn a little bit about businesses from their reviews, but so many businesses can get reviews can be bought and sold. So I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to some of that. Sometimes you get a negative review because someone doesn't like you, or maybe it's your competitor. And I'll have a story about that in just a second. But on the other hand, they could give you a $5, $10 gift card for a 5-star review. That's not authentic and genuine either. So you can't really get a good feel of what it's about or what it is. So that was part of what I would do as I go and interview these business owners, because we'd sit down for 25, 30 minutes, and I'd get a conversation with them. And if you're a jerk or you're a bad person, like Gary Vee said back in like 2008, he said like the playing field is leveled because everybody now, there's no more like work Brandon and at home Brandon and at the soccer game Brandon, or watching football Brandon. It's all the same, and it's tough to hide that, because now we have video and people can see us all the time so we can now show who we are easier. And that was 18 years ago, I think he said, 2008, 2009, something like that. But my thought was that, yeah, they can read it. They can read a description and a review, and somebody can try and pick out what they want out of it. Or if they have a 25-minute conversation, you really get to know that person. To me, that's super valuable. And back to what I was going to say about the negative reviews, I interviewed, there's no sponsorship here or anything like that, but Desert Wind Coffee Roasters, amazing coffee company. It's over on Buffalo and Sahara. If you get a chance, go check it out. Pam and Joseph are awesome. They're the owners there. I was interviewing Joseph, and he had told me that they had gotten a negative review. I think it was on Yelp or something, but they got a negative review and said that they don't even roast their own coffee beans. It doesn't even smell like coffee there. And I was kind of blown away, because I was like, every time I go out of there, because originally they started as just a roasting company, and then they opened it up to have a storefront. But that negative review was just something out there. So, or that somebody just wanted to put because it was their competitor. But I swear to you, I walk out of there and my clothes smell like roasted coffee beans. I love it over there. But So I was doing that, and I was actually interviewed a CrossFit company out here, Kaizen CrossFit. And I was interviewing the owner at the time, and one of his friends saw it and reached out to me. And he's like, "Hey, man, I'm putting this thing together." My buddy Mark, I've known him for what is that? Like, must be like 8, 9 years now. But Mark is like, "Hey, I'm starting this thing called #SupportLocalVegas, and I was wanting to see if you wanted to collaborate on it." I was like, yeah, perfect, perfect. So this is also a side note of this is that when you start putting yourself out there, you have no idea what's gonna come about it. But we launched that. We have I think we have almost like 470 something members in there now. But we kind of lost track, went our separate ways, not separate ways, but we just started like veering off from that a little bit. I think COVID happened, kind of knocked us off a little bit, and then we just kind of left it alone for a while. And so recently, I was like, you know what? As I'm going through like Apple Maps, like even I try to go, we like to go to like new happy hours and stuff like that, and go check new stuff out. But the challenge is like I go on like Apple Maps and I'll go on and type it in there, and be like, hey, happy hour nearby, something close by. I mean, I'll use like ChatGPT as well, but sometimes that's it. It'll give me a lot of times it gives me like more like mainstream like strip stuff, but also ChatGPT can only give you what it can go find as well. So what's happening is I go into Apple Maps and I'm a looking for a place to go, and then I go click on the website, and the website goes to like just a review place. It's not even a website. It's like I'm like, all right, what do you have? Like it seems like no bars or restaurants are updating their happy hour, what their happy hour offering is, what time it is. Is it 5 days a week? Is it 7 days a week? Is it 4 days a week? Like, is it to start at 2 to start at 4? Like, there's a lot of like friction for the consumer to be like, oh, let's go check this out. So the challenge with that challenge, I started thinking about, man, a lot of these business owners are not putting out like people aren't even aware of them, because they're not getting the right info and the updated info. Or getting in front of people, and that's kind of the bummer for me, is that when you have somebody that's offering something just incredible, but nobody knows about them, that's kind of a bummer. So that's kind of what we started this. It's called #SupportLocalVegas, and the idea behind it was we didn't want to really be a like a networking program or just a referral program, like not a referral, but like hey, can anybody tell me what's good, or just a spam, like people are just posting all their offerings over and over and over again. We have a Facebook page for a friend of mine. It's not my page, but she has a community page, and it's just hammered in there with like duct cleaning service, duct cleaning, duct cleaning, duct cleaning. So like if you're promoting your own business all the time, it just becomes noise. But if somebody else is promoting your business, it's for a good reason, right? So our idea is that to share the stories of these businesses. Where did they come from? Why did they start? Why is it important to them? Where are they going to go? Are they going to open up multiple locations, or what is it? Is it going to be handed down through the family? Are they going to sell? Like, who knows? But all those things where other people can promote them, and we're not anti-promoting themselves, and I'm not anti-big establishment either. I mean, I shop at Amazon. Like, this isn't a huge soapbox thing where I'm going to tell you that, oh, shop local only. I mean, there's many times where you might need something very quickly, for convenience, or maybe something's a lot less expensive online than it is at the store, and that's a decision that you're gonna have to make. Although we want to support as much as possible. I'm not like looking down on anybody for not for using Amazon or something. Um, but the idea is, when if I have a choice, if there's two coffee shops and I have big chain coffee shop here or mom and pop, I'll go to mom and pop every single time. Every single time. And so that's just kind of what I think it's kind of been ingrained in me, like I said, from a young age, to where I grew up around mainly um, like mom and pop and local business owners. But the idea also as well is there's stories to get out there, about these business owners. There is, again, why are they doing it? What are their plans up and coming? And the ability to share with other people, and not just be like a typical like networking group where it's like, oh, hey, here, exchange business card, like this, and then you go home and you throw all the business cards away and you don't know anything about them. Here, we kind of want to give a space where we can highlight some local businesses and people can recommend businesses for us to highlight so that they get a chance to to see what's not the high produced article or the 5-star reviews, but over here you're getting this. I mean, TikTok does a great job of having these creators will go in and find some great spots. I've heard a couple different things about where it gets a little. Sometimes they're a little biased. Maybe they're getting paid. I mean, a lot of them getting free food, and that's fine. I mean, that's how you're going to get people to come in to try it. But I've heard people getting frustrated with the lack of authentic reviews on certain things. That's not what we're not trying to go do like reviews of anything. We're trying to promote the local businesses here in town, here in Las Vegas, all over the city. So if you have anybody that you'd like to promote, get over to that page, or you can send me a message here. Like in YouTube or whatever, or any of my social media pages, all at Brandon DeVere. You can go find me in those spots. But yeah, that's the idea. We're just trying to get more local businesses, more eyes and awareness to them. So if you got anybody, please let me know, and we will do our best to get them out there. So, all right, I will see you on the next one. Have a great one.